Okay, so excellent question. In terms of the European market, I think some of the better ones right now are going to be the Norwegian kroner and the Swedish kroner, and here's why. In Norway, they have an incredibly strong economy. They haven't been exposed to the housing market like other countries were, like Iceland. And with that being the case, they also have strong oil, and with oil prices continuing to rise, I think they'll continue to benefit from that. On top of it, because they weren't affected by it, they really didn't have to lower interest rates too much, but they stayed within their inflation band and their interest rate bandwidth that they had set as targets. Since they've turned the corner on that, they were some of the first to really raise interest rates out of that, while the US or the Eurozone is not going to be in that situation for at least another year to come. So I think one of the best emerging currencies out there is going to be the Norwegian kroner against the European dollar. I think they will continue to gain strength over the medium term. And we're also seeing the same in the other Scandinavian countries such as Sweden. So Sweden has been gaining tremendously against the US dollar. In fact, if you look at the long-term trend, it's just continuing to gain against the dollar. And so I see the Swedish kroner also benefiting from that. They have a very stable economy. They don't overexpose themselves to housing markets or fiscal crises that the US or other European countries do. And so those are the top two that I would see in European. In terms of Latin America, I think the two best currencies to be trading out there would be the Brazilian real. I think it's going to suffer a little bit of a dip because now that Lula has kind of turned over the presidency, he was such an amazing figure and he did so much for the economy. I think there's going to be a little bit of a destabilization, kind of figuring out how the new president's going to run the country economically. But then after that, I think once it stabilizes after a year, then I think the Brazilian engine is going to continue to grow. They're continuing to bring people out of poverty into the middle class, and that just supports the base economy as a whole. So I think the Brazilian real is going to continue to gain. Chilean peso as well. So it's the #2 economy inside of South America right now. And what's happening is because they have such good transparency there, a lot of big international companies are moving to Chile, and so that's bringing a lot of money into it. They have a very good finance minister who really knows how to regulate the economy, so the Chilean peso and the Brazilian real, I think, are going to continue to grow against most currencies across the board.